So did we hit the official start time? Okay, so my name's Brian Tillman, and hopefully you're all here to try and get a product noticed, right? That's kind of what we're here for?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so 3 people are alive in this audience, so that's great. So I come... Huh?
I can help you with that.
No, we need to keep you in, you know, I don't want you taking people away. It's already, you guys didn't get enough people. I think we should have had like 3 times as many people here. But that's just me. I know that there's like somebody important was going on over there. When I went to the bathroom, this lady was like, and then you can tell your mother and your sister and your brother, and are you guys ready for this? And they're like, yeah! I was like, I guess that one's important, okay. And then there's another one over here, and I'm like, great, I'm up against like super celebrities. Fantastic.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? But see, here's the thing. I know I've got one thing going for me.
right.
Okay? So people will be like, yeah, no, I went to this panel. I don't really know what the guy talked about, per se. But man, that afro, he had one of those, and it was really good. So, you know, there's something. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. I don't like talking about myself because I don't find it that important. But one thing you'll notice is that I don't stand still. Okay? I can't stand that. I'm an artist true and true. And for any of you who are artists, you know that you always have to be doing something. Otherwise, you're asleep. Right? And so since I can't draw, I'm going to move. But it's also a tactic to keep you guys entertained. Okay? Because if I sit in one spot and I start going, oh, blah, blah, oh, blah, 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 you're going to go, right? But if I come over here, you're like, he's going to fall. I don't, oh, man. No, hit that chair. No, he didn't hit the chair. He did, oh, what? So I know these things. I present every year multiple times. I present every year at San Diego on a class called Proper Pitching and Promoting Yourself. It's a little bit different than this because this one you should already have a product. Right? We're kind of all there. Yes? Yeah. Sort of? Yeah. Okay. So I come from an era of call and response. I don't like hearing myself talk. Okay? I've heard it. And I'm sorry that you're with me for the next 45 minutes and you have to listen to me. We don't. We could always just leave if you wanted to. But the thing is that if I ask you a question, I'm not asking any rhetorical questions here. So I really want to know the answer. Okay? And for all of you younger folk or older folk, I'm pretty sure you've heard it in music. You know, where it's like you got the musicians up on stage, or the rapper, or the DJ, or whatever, and they're like, you guys having a good time tonight? They were like, ah! I need that from you. I don't need you to scream at me, because I might get scared and run away myself, but I do need you to answer the questions that I ask you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
We're going to get there. All right, great. So as I said, my name is Brian Tillman. If you look up Brian Tillman on Google, you'll find a lot of white people. That's not me, just to let you know. But if you type in Brian Kaiser Tillman, you'll find a lot of afros. So you'll find me. So my artist name is Kaiser. Everything I do is under that marker. If you want to know why, come to my Artist Alley table in 19, and I'll gladly tell you the story of how I got my artist name. So what I've done over the years is been a teacher. Okay? A lot of people were like, oh, you gotta be an artist. I went to be a teacher. Okay, so I've taught at the Art Institute for over 11 years, and then I've moved recently to Norfolk State University. I went to a real college. I worked for the Art Institute for 11 years, okay? I said the same thing then, too. I'm not working for a real college. Anyway. But I worked for them, and I was the director. I was in charge of animation, game art, visual effects, motion graphics, photography, film and video, audio, visual game programming. Yeah, I think that was it at the Art Institute. And then at Norfolk State, I'm in charge of graphic design. Okay? So I've been teaching since 2005, and it's been great. And it's allowed me to do a lot of things, like go to conventions and speak to people. Okay? And because of that, I started using my resources that I had available to me to make sure that I got my name in front of the right people. Okay? And so since then, I went and became an artist while I was a teacher, which is normally backwards, right? You do the art thing, you get burnt out, and then you're like, I want a stable job, and I want to become a teacher. Let me tell you something, teaching is not stable, okay? I'm just gonna throw that out there. And students, y'all are awful. Okay? But, so I started doing art, and I've worked for Toys R Us, I've worked for Hasbro, I've worked for Marvel, DC, Image, Valiant. I worked for TGI Fridays, and yes, as a comic book artist, you can work for TGI Fridays. It's interesting what you have to do. You can do that. I've worked for Upper Deck, Cryptozoic, FX, Fox, and some other stupid things, okay? But the thing is that you'll never know that I did that, okay? Because I was doing all the production work, which was the best. Because you got paid, you didn't get hassled afterwards by angry fans. How dare you draw Spider-Man with a square head? He's not supposed to have a square head. You don't get any of that. So it's a lot of the production in the background, okay? But I then, for some reason, made the mistake to try and step out on my own. And this is where this class comes in, okay? This lecture comes in. So I tried to step out on my own, and I'm like, I'm gonna do something, mainly because I was challenged by my students. Once again, you guys are awful. But I was teaching game design, and I said, we're gonna make a game. We had 11 weeks. I'm like, we're gonna make a game in 11 weeks. They're like, it's impossible. I'm like, really? 11 weeks? That's 3 months. I'm like, impossible. I'm like, I'm pretty sure tic-tac-toe was made in like 10 seconds. And they're like, well, any game of substance you can't do. I'm like, okay, you're wrong. And so I made a game with them. And I made a role-playing trading card game that combined elements of Magic the Gathering, Dungeons & Dragons, and chess in 11 weeks. Now, it wasn't the full game, but it was workable, okay? And it worked. And then, you know, me, I'm like, ha! You guys suck! And they're like, well, that's not fair, you're the teacher. I'm like, I've never done this before. You know what? Whatever. But then I was like, you know what? This game's actually pretty fun. Let me actually develop it. Hopefully that's what you guys are doing. Maybe not a game, but your product. You're like, I'm going to develop this. And a month passed, 3 months passed, 6 months, a year, another year, another year. And I was working, but it seemed like forever. Anyone else feeling like that right now? They're like, oh my God, I've worked on this forever. Okay? It's okay. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's okay. Unless your idea was from high school. Anyone's from high school? Do we have any high school students? Okay. How far away from high school are you guys? Oh, you're fine. You're okay. You got about 2 more years left. It's like your timeline. If it's from high school and you don't produce it within 3 years, it sucks. I've been in the game for a long time. And I've had people come to me and they're like, I got this great idea. I'm like, all right, tell me about it. And they're like, blah, 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 I've really been doing this for a long time. I'm like, really? How long is long? They're like, well, you know, I started when I was a freshman. I'm like, throw this garbage away. And they're like, what? I'm like, you'll never finish this. Never. Okay? If you've been working on something and you're like, I've been working, and you seem to be at the same spot, so if you're running your head into the wall, or it seems like, all right, I did that, it didn't work. No, and then 5 years later, you're still pounding your head against the wall, you should stop, okay? Definition of insanity is that you do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, okay? So if it's not working, stop. Just stop and let it go, okay? Hopefully, you have more than one idea roaming around in your head, okay? So if this one's not working, put it to the side. And don't throw it away. Put it to the side. The reason for that is, it might become something later, okay? You're working on this other project over here, 15 years later, and you're like, oh, this is really cool, this is awesome, I'm doing this, that, and the other thing, okay, yeah, wait. I remember I was working on something before that would really work here, but it didn't, you know what? Let me go back into my archives, pull out and dust it off, and go back over here and try, and then it works. I've done that, personally. I'm like, this is horrible, this is not gonna work, I'll put it over here, and then I found it. I'm like, this is awesome. I was too stupid to use it when I was younger, but now I'm older and more mature, I got it. going to make it work. So don't get rid of it, but you need to move on, okay? And here's the thing. So I worked on my game for 3 years. It was in production. A lot of people tell me that's great. Like, you're one person and you made a trading card game all by yourself? Yes, but it took too long for me, okay? It took too long for me. But it took 3 years production, I have family, all that stuff. I had work. I was working at the Art Institute, so between the hours of 12 and 3 in the morning, that's when I did my work. Anyone else in that boat? Or like, yeah, just the nights, yeah, okay. Get some sleep. I always say sleep is for the weak. It's true. Okay, and you can sleep when you're dead. Sleep is stupid. But eventually you're gonna need to get some rest. Okay? So make sure you take a nap every now and then, because otherwise you're gonna turn into a zombie. And has anyone ever looked at something and you're like, man, it really fell off, like right here, like it really started to suck? It's because they weren't sleeping back here. Okay? So sometimes you're just gonna need to actually go to sleep, okay? But 3 years, I was working on it, I was like, great, let me put this product in front of people. Who do you think I put it in front of?
Gamers.
I hope not. I put it in front of gamers, okay? If you have a product, okay, so I'm very, I don't know if you've noticed, but I just talk, okay? And there's never gonna be a point where I'm like, and this is bullet point number 4. Okay, I'm going to talk, the information is going to come to you in our conversation, but the thing is I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. Okay, I'm just going to present it to you in a different way. Okay? And you're like, oh, yeah, okay? So the thing that I did is I put it in front of the people that I wanted to buy it. Okay, how many of you go to your family members who love you and you're like, will you look at this, isn't this awesome? And they're like, this is really good. Do you read books? No. Do you like comics? No. You like animation? No. Okay. They said it was good because they love you. Okay? You want to get some honest feedback and some real answers, give it to someone who hates your guts. Here, check this out. If you're a comic book artist, show your stuff to an accountant. They're like, here. Or a mechanic. Or a chemist. Or someone who is so completely on the other side of the spectrum, and you go, read this, play this, watch this. Because they're the ones who are going to give you the honest feedback. You can't do it. Okay, you can't look at your own product and be like, ooh, I need to fix this, or I need to do that. This isn't working because why? Why do you think that you cannot critique your own stuff?
Because you're biased.
You're not biased. Every single one of you thinks your stuff is garbage. Okay. Every single one of you. And if you're like, no, I think my stuff is great, you're lying.
Yeah.
Because otherwise your product will be done and out there. Okay? So don't give me that. We are our own worst critics. We're the worst. Okay? We think that it can always be better. Oh, it's just a little bit more. I can do a little bit more. It can be a little bit better, a little bit better. 15 years later, it could be a little bit better. And you don't have anything, okay? There's something to be said about getting your product out there and then building on that. Do you think Magic the Gathering is this phenomenon that it was when it started? It's like, don't get me wrong, they hit the shelves and it was like, oh. There was stuff wrong with it, hence why they banned half of their cards. Okay, but they don't look back. They're just like, yeah, my bad. Here's another set. Forget about it. Shh. Here's another one. Oh wait, we gotta ban some of those too. Like, here's another one. They just move on, but their product is out there. They're getting noticed, and now they're this juggernaut in the gaming industry that cannot be stopped. Okay? Do you think that if the seven, I think it was 7 people that made Magic were like, well, no, it could be a little bit better. No, that Black Lotus could be a little bit blacker. No, you gotta make that sorcerer a little bit stronger. No, we gotta... Do you think that anything would have come of that if they were constantly standing in their own way? No. Okay? So stop it. How many people have been working on their product for 1 year and don't have anything? Don't raise your hand yet. It's like, don't raise your hand yet. And do not have something substantial to show someone to where you can go, This is what I've been working on. It's not done. That's what I've been working on. And you can walk away from it, and they won't really have any questions. I mean, they'll have questions, but they'll be like, okay, I see where you're going with this, and then you don't have to sit there and be like, well, see, on panel 1, what I was trying to do was this. No, just how many, one year and have something substantial to show.
How many years? Do you have something to show?
Do have something substantial to show, okay? 2 years, substantial to show.
Oh.
Still substantial, for 2 years worth of work. Okay? 3, what are you waiting on?
It had to be perfect.
Stop it.
Right.
Okay? 1 year substantial, great. And I know there are people like, no, I've been working on mine for 7. I'm going to wait until it gets up to 7. Like, no. Okay? If you had something that you've been working on for 7 years, when I said 1, you're like, I've been working on it for 1 year, and 2 years, and 3 years, and 4 years, and 5 years. Okay? If you've gotten past 3 and you're not going, hello, sir, how are you doing? Would you like this? Because it's done. It might not be perfect, but it's done. If you can't do that after 3 years, you're doing something wrong. I'm not going to say that it sucks, because it probably doesn't, but you're doing something wrong. Okay? 3 years max. You shouldn't go beyond that. Okay? Now, if there's something that's outside of your realm, and you're like, I write, but I can't draw, and I want a comic book. It's like, okay, how many scripts have you done? Well, I've worked on 1. For 3 years? Come on. Okay? So don't let the limitations of what you think you can and can't do stop you from what you're trying to do. Okay? I'm a writer. Great. Write your ass off. Period. And you know, there's one person who came by, he's like, I'm a writer. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And he came to me and he's like, I don't really know what to do, but I have 30 scripts. I'm like, well, don't talk to me. You got to talk to Marvel. You got to talk to DC. Here, come here. 30 scripts, go, bye. Okay? Work. If there's anything about getting your product noticed, is you have to work. If you do not eat, breathe, sleep, sweat, cry, pee, your work, you're not doing it right. You don't care. Let me take that back. No, it's harsh. I've been known to give like very harsh, tough love. It's like, you just don't give a crap. They're like, I do. I'm like, no, you don't. Okay, and here's why. Okay, here's why. So, what's your name?
Wilson Ray.
Wilson. May I call you Wilson?
Yeah.
Wilson. What's your name?
Paul.
Paul. Okay, so Wilson and Paul both want to make a comic book, right? Both of them have families. Both of them have full-time jobs. Okay. Wilson goes, work was hard today. I'm going to get a brew, I'm going to watch a game, I'm going to go to sleep. Right? Paul goes, oh, work was horrible today. And he starts drawing. Who's going to get their product done faster? Paul. Paul is. Okay? Who's going to get noticed faster? Paul is. Okay? If you're not completely serious about what you're doing, and you have to look at yourself. This is the hard part, okay? You have to be able to look at yourself and go, do I really want this? Not, I would love to be the next fill in the blank director. Like, okay, that's great. What are you doing about it? What are you doing to get there? I'm dreaming. That's great. Perfect. Okay? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are the active steps? Rule number 1 about getting anything A accomplished or B noticed is what are you doing? What are you doing about it? How many athletes do I have in the room? And I don't mean professional, I just mean I like to run or play basketball or something. Really? Like 2, 3? Come on.
We're nerds.
Really? High school guys? Nothing? Wow, I thought in the youth, man, I mean, when I was young, I did everything.
This is a Comic-Con.
But, okay, so, my athlete people, what do you do? Yeah. You like to run. Fine, that's good. You like to run, okay? So, when you started to run and you ran the mile, were you perfect at it? No? Did you keep trying? Did you take active steps to keep running?
Yeah.
Holy crap, I gotta do something in order to get something done. You have to want it. I can't say it anymore. Do you think Stan Lee is Stan Lee because he was just like, I got a great idea, but I'm gonna sit on it?
Nope.
Hardest working man, almost period. I mean, the guy's 94, putting in full hours at a convention, okay? He wants it. He wants it. All these people who you look up to and be like, wow, if I can only be this guy. It's like, all right, go talk to them. Go ask them what they do, and they'll tell you, I work every single day. I'm drawing every single day. I'm writing all the time. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay? But once you get to the point to where you can go, I have a product. And it doesn't have to be finished. This is a big, important part. Your product doesn't have to be finished in order to get it noticed or pitch it out. Okay? It has to work. There's a huge difference between having something working and it being done. Okay? Do you guys know the differences? I mean, do I need to explain that to you? Sir?
So I'm also a writer, and I've got a Patreon. Do you think that would...
Patreon helps?
Yeah, having a Patreon where people are actually paying me. Do you think that would actually help me with trying to get noticed when I'm sending my work to publishers and stuff?
Yes. And here's why. Okay, so... jumping the gun. Well, it's all right. We'll just jump. It's okay. So, how many people are active on social media? And when I say active, I don't mean you check Facebook. I mean active on social media. Okay? All of you should be. No. We're not doing the princess wave. No. Either you are or you are not. And you know if you are or if you are not. Okay? If you're not active on social media, you are failing right now. Period. Okay? Back in the 80s when there was no internet, or it was with the government but not us, then you're like, well, I have to send out a letter, and I gotta do this, and I gotta wait a month, and hopefully they'll write me back, and then you have no excuse of getting a following. Any of you are like, I'm not good enough. No one cares. I'm serious. People love to see growth. That's what we want because A, we want to know that the next, James Cameron started off going, hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran out the clock. They want us to know, like, no, they started off, I can do that too. That's what social media has done for artists and people who are going to become popular because they can go, I can grab people now when I don't know what I'm doing. And then I can say, look at me learn, look at what I'm doing, look at my passion, look at how I'm doing this. And then the interaction between you and your fans is what's going to get you noticed, okay? Because, for instance, there's a person that I watch on Twitch, and he recently was like, I need a new shed. I need a new shed, because where I film content, it's flooding and dilapidated, and I need a new shed. So I'm going to put up an Indiegogo or GoFundMe or something to get a new shed. That was it. I need money. Here's some artwork. We can, I'll send you some artwork or some prints or something. Shed. Talking about demolish, laying down concrete. The guy built a house, pretty much, a small one. And his community paid for it. And he gave them prints of his work. If you are not going, holy what? You don't understand the impact of what his social media and community was doing. He started 5 years ago going, I really hope that I can do this. His videos were horrible, and you know what? He kept going. And then Twitch came out. He's like, I'm going to keep going on this. And then he did some Instagram, and he kept going. He kept talking to people, talking and interacting. And it was like, hey, how's it going? Well, thank you for the comment, blah. And he kept talking to people to where people felt like they knew him. And then he said, I need money. And they went, bleh. And then he's like, you gave me so much more money that not only am I going to rebuild it, but I'm going to add on an extension and buy VR equipment. and a new computer. And you're like, what? Okay? That's what social media can do. You want to know that every person who cares, if they're trying to get a full-time commitment out of you, they look you up. They look you up. Social media can make or break you. Okay? So, if for some reason, this is for my people who are going into college, if you decide to do something stupid, like post a picture of you at a kegger with a joint in your mouth, you should probably get rid of it. Because people will see that. And then they go, this guy's a weedhead. We're not going to hire him. Or her. Or if you're like, look, I made a makeshift bomb, you should probably get rid of that.
Unless it's part of your product.
Nope. No. Keep the bongs off the internet.
Well, it's part of your product.
Okay, if you're selling bongs, then go ahead. Yeah. Like, if that's your thing, then hey, man, have that everywhere. But if you're not the producer of, glass-made, crystal-decorated bongs, you should probably not have them in your social feed, okay? But the thing is that if you are not doing social media, you are failing right now. And you don't have to do all of them, because I know they're like, well, there's so many. Pick one and own it. Whichever one it works. Whichever one's great for you. Pick that one and do it.
I wish. So do you think it's necessary to contact say I'm a filmmaker,
okay.
And so I'm trying to get social media. Do you think it's necessary to contact the people that start to follow you?
No.
No? Okay.
Just talk to them on the social media platform.
Okay, so after they start following me,
they start following you, you can say thank you very much for.
That's what I mean.
You can always send a thank you very much, and
okay.
wait just a second. It's like thank you very much, that's great, and then move on from there. But then after that, if they comment, respond. Always respond to everybody, unless it's evil.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
I already have a Facebook account. Should I make another Facebook account for my product?
Yeah.
Yes, you should make an art page. You should absolutely make an art page because, let's say you get super famous, with a personal page you can only get up to 5,000 people, and then with an art page you get up to like 50 or 80,000. So, numbers. You definitely want to have something separate. No, you don't. You can start an art page with your personal page.
So link to your personal page.
Log in through your personal page, and then on the left, it'll say, these are your pages. Click New Page. And then it'll ask you what you want to do and say art page or fan page.
More products, right?
Yep, exactly. Now, for those of you who didn't know that you should be doing social media, it means that you've been living under a rock. And you need to stop it. But that's not the whole thing. If you haven't picked up on it, there's one thing that you need to be doing. You want to get noticed, there's two things. There are two things that you need to do. What's the first one?
Do the work.
Do it. You gotta do the work.
Yeah.
Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to work. Okay? So if you're making a comic and you're like, I did pages 1 through 10, but there's supposed to be 50 pages, that's fine. Book your 1 through 10, and then you can start showing. Okay? Because with 10 pages, you can tell where things are going. If you're making a game, you have to have a demo. Doesn't mean you have to have it all done, but it gives us an idea of like, oh, that's going to be really cool. And then you can be like, and then I'm going to add this, and I'm going to do this, and there's going to be these really cool lights and maquettes and all that. That's great. But you got to have something done. What's the second one? Most important.
Get it out there.
Market it.
Hashtags.
True. Okay, wait. So get it out there. Hashtags. Market.
Find your audience.
Social media?
Yes, but no.
Find your audience.
Go ahead. No. Wait, what's that?
The same way Twitter. Have multiple Twitter accounts, right? For the product.
You need one for your product. Yes. So there's
Finish your product.
no.
Be good at
That's
it.
later. No, actually. You can produce garbage and become super famous.
Yeah.
I know you've seen stuff where you're just like, that's horrible. Go ahead. Yes. We need to go on that route.
What do you say?
Communicate with your fans.
I was going to say, put it out there for someone to see.
Yes.
Build a fan base.
Yes. How do you do that?
You find your audience.
Communicate with
I heard it.
Find your audience.
Networking.
Network.
In layman's terms, if you're like, what? Isn't that a computer program? It means you have to talk to people.
Yeah.
You literally need to talk to people. You're excited about a product, you have it done. No one's gonna know that you have this awesome idea if you don't tell anyone about it, okay? And here's the thing, when you guys sat down, right? Did you say anything to the person next to you?
A little bit.
You know that you're in a mecca of nerds, right? They share the same like ideals that you do. You're like, yeah, that's really cool. These are the people you should talk to. And the reason why is you're in film, right?
Yeah.
You film?
Board games.
Board games? Comics. Would you like to make, would you like your characters in your board game or somehow to become, or have a comic?
Actually, I'm looking for artists, so.
I made magic in like 20 seconds. But my point is, okay, so he wants to do a comic, right? Now he knows, like, oh, she does film. Maybe we can work together and we can do a short film. Oh, maybe I can use you to do storyboards for my film. Oh, wow, genius, okay? And the thing is that you never know who's sitting next to you. Never. You never, ever, ever, ever know who you're sitting next to unless you brought them.
Yeah.
If you brought your own companion for the left and the right, then it doesn't work. But if you sit down, you don't know who's next to you. Okay? I went to GDC, which is the Game Developers Conference, and I went to the educational end, which was 2 days before the conference. And I go there, and they serve really bad fish. And you know, we sat down, and there's these big like King Arthur round tables, and so we sit there, and I'm like, all right, cracked it open, was like, oh my. Wow, I'm gonna get a sandwich from somewhere else. All right, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, I can eat the Cheetos, and you know, you can't ruin those. And then this guy next to me, he comes in, he's like, hey, do you mind, they don't actually have multiple tables, so do you mind if I sit next to you? I'm like, please, of course. And he cracks it open, he's like, oh, they did fish again? And I'm like, oh, so you know. And he's like, yeah, I come to this pretty much every year. I'm like, oh, cool. You know, and we're talking, and he's like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a student, you know, I'm doing this, I'm learning that, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, that's really cool. And I show him some work, and he's like, oh, your character design, that's cool stuff. And I'm like, what do you do? Oh, I'm the president of Sony. What? You know, and I'm like, at that point, it's like, you know, and we're just like, all right, cool. And he, nicest guy, here's my card, give me a call. I'm like, okay. Other guy sits down, he was, you know, asks, and I sit, I'm like, I can't. Of course, why not?
Yeah.
Right? He sits down, we get to talking, no, I'm a student, blah, 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 same thing. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, well, actually, I got to scarf this down because I got to go to a panel. I'm like, oh, okay, well, what do you do? And like, I'm the creator of Tetris. Like the game of games beyond Pong. Like there's Pong and then there's Tetris.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Last year, same thing. Okay, so I like to talk. Okay, and so last year I was in San Diego, behind my booth. Guy walks up. Same thing. Hey, how's it going? He's like, oh, well, you know, we're looking. And he's looking through. I'm like, oh, those are illustrations for a trading card game I did. And he's like, oh. We start talking about the game that I developed. And he's like, wow, you did that all on your own? I'm like, yeah, I did. And he's like, that's amazing. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, your badge says that you exhibit. What do you exhibit? Oh, I work for a game company. Now, what that means is normally my game company is so small you'll never you've never heard of it. And so I'm like, so we talk a little bit more, and I pry a little. I'm like, okay, well, what have you done? Like, and he's like, well, you know, I was the lead guy who worked on a digital card game. I'm like, oh, cool. He's like, you may have heard of it. I'm like, okay. He's like, have you heard of Hearthstone? Actually, you released Hearthstone the same time I released my game, so yeah, I know about your game. and he's like, oh, well, you know, this, that, and the other thing. He's like, it's very impressive, you did this all by yourself. You know, we had a team, and we stole most of our art from other illustrators who was doing stuff for WoW and all that stuff. You know, so we had all kinds of stuff going on. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, what do you do? Like, what? Please tell me what you do. Because I was like, you can't just say that you work for some game company and it happens to be freaking Blizzard. You know, I was like, what do you do at Blizzard? I'm going, he's an artist, he's an artist, he's an artist. He was like, oh, I'm the vice president of Blizzard. Like, you can't do that. And he's like, it sounds way better than it is. I'm like, no, you're the vice president. Sir, death, yes.
at any point, were you starting to feel like, okay, someone had really screwed up because they put me next to these people?
Well, see, here's the thing. I've been on that panel too. Like, I've been on that panel. But those were just instances where I was there and I opened my mouth. And I was like, hey, how's it going? I treated people like human beings. You know, hey, how you doing? How are you doing? You know, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, I can change your life. Oh, sweet. Awesome. Okay, so that's the thing. But when you're on the panel, and here's the thing, when you're on a panel, and I was on a panel about this many, I was at Gen Con, and there was like, oh, I'm the CEO of Hasbro, oh, I wrote the first 5 issues of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, I shouldn't, I'm just a teacher. I was like, why am I up here? You know, and they're like, the one person who was talking was me. Because they're all like, we never thought of that. That's an interesting concept. We never really thought about that. And then I get whisked away. Like, come on, we're gonna do a brainstorming game design session with you. I'm like, why? You like created games. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no, you have a good idea. We're gonna work with this, okay? Don't be afraid to talk to people. It's the #1 rule of getting noticed. Talk to people, okay? And I know it's like you should have something that's done. Honestly, you should talk to people. If you have an idea that's bouncing around in your head, talk to people. And then do something. Because if you come back the next year and it's still like, well, I have this idea about this. It's like, you haven't done anything in an entire year? It's like, what are you waiting on? Okay? So, talk and work. Talk and work. Talk and work. That is the main thing. And never, unless you are absolutely sure that you never want to work with a company, never burn your bridges. Okay? Because there have been times in my artistic life where there was one person who was completely horrible in this company. Just horrible. Like, I'm going to just rip this person's face off. Horrible. And you're like, nope, I'm not going to do it because I want to work with this company. This person leaves and then comes over here and is now like the executive producer for, you know, FX. And you're like, hey, we worked really well together. They don't need to know that, you know, behind closed doors, I'm like, they don't need to know all that, okay? But you don't want to burn bridges, and if you're not networking, the problem is you're missing out. Because people who are in school or in instances like this, you miss the opportunity to ride someone's coattails. To be honest, you make friends, you ride their coattails. Okay? Because when I was teaching at the Art Institute, the majority of my faculty were people I went to school with. Like, I hired them because I'm like, I know how you work. I trust that you can get the job done. Hire on the spot, no questions. Okay? Same thing happens. I got contacted from a friend who was like, can you do this job for us? Who's us? Oh, sorry, it's Fox. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Yes, Fox Entertainment, done, got it. Okay? So, talking and networking is the #1 way to get noticed. Make sure you do some social media, get a product done, and I'm going to answer this question and I'm going to tell you about this book.
I have one quick question.
No weed in pictures.
I try to, I started practicing character development,
Okay.
character design when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I just have one question. Is it a good idea to, I can draw any template of a character, make them look sort of this way, that way, but is it a good idea to base their character, say I have a friend who's angry but has good morals but loses his temper, I make a character who's okay, I want him to shoot fire out of his eyes and throw up acid or something, and I design this character off my friend. Is that a good way to start off developing
Yes.
characters?
Absolutely.
The world?
The one thing, and this is on a different topic, so character design is what I normally do. And the best thing to do is do what you know. Design around what you know. Okay, so if you have someone that you can base it off of, why wouldn't you go with that? Because you have the model right there. You can always pull from that resource. So absolutely, if you have a group of friends who you can go, this is a cast of characters, do it. Absolutely. So one of the things that I did I'm sorry, I completely forgot to tell you guys, the main reason why they have me here talking to you is because I developed this card game that got picked up by Upper Deck. And it's going to be released in November. Yeah. But the thing is that it was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm gonna make it count. So, as an individual person, a lot of people think that you'll never, it's like, oh, well, I'm one person, I can't get this to work, I'll never, like I said, worst critic, always, okay? But if you want it, you will do it. Through the heartache, through the working for 4 hours at midnight after you've already put in a full day's work and you have to get up 2 hours later, you're gonna do it because you want to, okay? Then it's gonna pay off for you. No one else but you, okay? And there's something to be said about, you know what, it may have taken me 5 years to get it done, but now it's all me. It's all my rewards, okay? And that's important. And then never, if you truly believe in it, never doubt it, okay? Because if you go out there and they're like, I don't like it, that's fine. There are billions of people on this planet. If you get a couple people who are like, that's stupid, I'm like, all right, that's not for you. I have plenty of Magic players who are like, that's stupid. I'm like, all right, cool. It's not for you, And I have plenty of other Magic players who are like, this game is awesome. I'm like, thank you, okay? There are people out there who will like what you want and like what you create, okay? You have to find them. The way you're gonna find them is to talk to people. The easiest way to talk to people clear across the entire globe, social media, okay? So if you're not active on social media, do it, okay? Do it now, pick one and just own it. Another thing is, if you're like me, as an artist or a writer, you're scatterbrained, and you got stuff everywhere, right? And you're like, I got something on a napkin, I drew this on the wall, I did this, I told this one person, okay? I actually, as an educator, developed a book. It's called the 30-Day Pitch Bible, okay? And what it is, it's a workbook for artists, because we don't have workbooks, but I made one, okay? And it's a planner, so you can plan out 30 days, so you can actually get some deadlines done, which we all know is hard, okay? And after that, there are sections in there. There's a reference section, so you can actually pull reference from the things that you are influenced by. Then it goes into story, and it asks you questions about your story. How are you going to progress it? What is the antagonist? Who's the antagonist, the protagonist? What's the rising action, the falling action? What's the conclusion? What's the genre? Most people don't think about, what you're trying to do, but it asks you these questions and you fill them in. Then it goes to character design. Then it goes to environment design. Then it goes to asset design. It goes to storyboards, and then there's a blank section in the end for just plain sketches or notes or whatever floats your boat, okay? But it organizes everything in one spot, okay? And it's not the end-all be-all, remember? We don't need that. But this kind of book is the exact thing when I'm saying it needs to get working. You have to have something that works. So you could go up to anyone, if you had this filled out, you can go, I have a great idea for a movie, a comic, a game, or whatever. And they're like, oh, really? Can you tell me about it? Here you go. Okay? If you don't buy my book, that's perfectly fine. But you need to put something together like this. Because if you were like me, and you're scatterbrained, not only will you put stuff everywhere, but the minute you get a nice new idea, you're going to start working on that. Okay? Because we as creative people always have new ideas. Right? It's like, oh, this would be really cool. And we're also like, canaries. Oh, shiny, 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 shiny. Wait, I gotta go back to this one. Whoa, and you just wander off. And that's what we do with ideas, okay? So if you're not organizing them all in one spot, you'll never be able to finish. You need to finish. Socialize and finish. That should be your mantra for the next year. I need to actually socialize with people, and I need to get this done. Socialize and get it done. Any questions before they kick us out? Yeah.
Where do you socialize aside from social media?
I go to conventions.
Yeah. Yep.
Nerdvana. I mean, well, why wouldn't I come here? These are the people I want to talk to. So I come to conventions, as many as I can. Yes?
One more question, sorry. So when you promote yourself on social media, so I just launched a comic strip based on characters. Do I want to socialize as the comic strip as a brand, or do I need to express myself as the artist as well?
Okay, so there's two trains of thought with that. You can completely distance yourself. 1 minute. Okay. You can completely distance yourself from the personal aspect and just be a brand, or you can do yourself, and it builds the brand. You should build your brand. You should. It's yours. Build it. talk as a person, and it's like, I'm doing this. Once it hits, then step back. Okay? Until then, let them know that you're an actual person. Yes, Dad?
Is there a digital version of that book? Is there a digital version of that book?
No. No, because I haven't been able to program it to be interactive yet. Otherwise, it would just be a PDF that you'd have to print out.
Okay.
So, I'm working on it. Yes, sir?
So, did you ever use Kickstarter for games and stuff?
I did. Kickstarter is great. It's nerve-wracking, but it's great. My first set was sponsored through Kickstarter. It was until the last very second that I got it, I got that last like $100 at the very end, but it worked. And then people from Greece and Hong Kong and people all over the world have my game. And now that it's going to be released from Upper Deck, they're going to be like, I remember that. So if you are willing to socialize, because Kickstarter only works if you talk, okay? You have to promote beforehand. You cannot promote during. You got to promote beforehand. Then Kickstarter is great. Good? All right. Now here's the thing. I'm going to be at Artist Alley N19 and outside that door. So if you want to talk, you need to ask me a question. I'm going to be right outside, or you can meet me in Artist Alley. And if you want a book, I have that. That's all for me, guys. Thank you very much.